With me is Jonathan Isaby of the Brexit Central website. Welcome to you indeed. So you're cheering David Davis today?
Well, certainly from the inbox I had this morning from Brexit Central readers on learning of the news overnight, they were very pleased that he had taken a principled stance, as they see it, on the Chequers proposal, which he was not able to back. Obviously, Downing Street have been seeking over the weekend to persuade both members of Parliament and indeed the wider public of the case for the Chequers proposal. But it appears that amongst the Brexit community, it hasn't succeeded yet. The Brexiteers aren't persuaded that this proposal doesn't break the red lines that Theresa May set herself. And more than that, you've got to remember, this is just a proposal, this is just an offer. And this is a point that David Davis made in his resignation letter. This isn't a final deal that people might say, well, perhaps we could live with this. In a negotiation, you expect there to be give and take and both sides to make concessions. And and I know there was one of the meetings at Downing Street last night with Tory MPs with the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff. Yeah. They were saying, well, what further concessions would you be prepared to make? At what point would you say you haven't reached your red lines?
Isn't that called political compromise, which, given that the nation is divided on this, some people might see as a sensible course?
Clearly, in the Brexit negotiations, there have to be compromises, and I think a lot of Brexiteers...
It seems you don't accept that.
No, I think a lot of Brexiteers would say there have been a lot of compromises from the beginning, from accepting the EU sequencing on negotiations, from accepting that there probably ought to be a divorce bill, as it were. All those things and many others. The United Kingdom has put forward a pretty positive and amicable position thus far, which has generally been rejected by the EU, which has given no ground to the UK in return. And at some point, there has to be a view where no deal is indeed better than a bad deal.
But the simple fact is, you, in what you call the Brexit community, don't believe in what Mrs May called a continuing strong partnership with the European Union, do you?
I think people would believe in the deep and special partnership with the European Union if it sticks to the red lines that she set herself.
Yeah, but the red lines were, it's like a stop clock list, but I mean the red lines were not in the on the ballot paper in the referendum. Therefore, there is no particular mandate for sticking to them, is there?
Well, if you look at the Conservative manifesto from the election last year,
which was not endorsed by the people, and which has been changed on social policy. I mean, it seems to me that Conservative Brexiteers are effectively denying the right of their elected leader to lead.
The referendum result still stands at the end of the day. Unless we forget, more people voted in that referendum than have ever voted for anyone or anything.
But the political process still stands as well. And the Prime Minister and her cabinet have agreed a position. But you're now advocating that Conservative MPs should defy the Prime Minister.
Conservative MPs need to make their own minds up about what they do.
Yeah, but you think they should defy the Prime Minister?
Well, David Davis has clearly defied the Prime Minister by not accepting the Chequers proposal, and I think a lot of Tory MPs are emboldened by what he has said.
And you'd encourage them to do that?
Oh, I happen to think that he's made a principled stance, and I think a lot of people are now looking to see what Boris Johnson does, because I note with interest he has made absolutely no public comment about this Chequers proposal since it was agreed on Friday night.
And would you like Boris Johnson to quit as well?
That's a decision for him.
No, but you're entitled to your opinion. Would you like him to quit?
I say I'm not going to tell him what to do, but I think that individual ministers need to make their own mind up about what they can and can't live with. And I think it's increasingly clear that a lot of Brexiteers cannot live with what the government is proposing.
Thank you very much indeed, Jonathan Isaby there from Brexit Central. This is Sky News.